The guy falls in love at first sight with his mom's boyfriend's wife. The woman also knows the guy is her husband's son with his mistress. To get back at this unfaithful man, she chooses to become the daughter-in-law of her husband and his mistress. Minori and Yudai have been married for 19 years. Their child is even old enough for kindergarten. She thought life would stay happy forever, but a message on her husband's phone shatters her dream. To confirm her suspicion, Minori follows her husband that night. After seeing him pass by a girl, she breathes a sigh of relief. But then her husband walks into a jewelry store with a college student. He even buys her an expensive necklace. Minori feels sick to her stomach. She thinks she might be a trophy wife. But when another woman appears, Minori has a worse thought. They look like a happy family of 3. The necklace was for this woman. The college boy looks about 19 or 20 years old. Did her husband have another family when he married her 19 years ago? The more Minori thinks, the scarier it gets. She sees her husband doesn't go home after dinner. Instead, he visits his lover's hair salon for a massage. Then this family of 3 boldly goes home together, as if Minori, the legal wife, is the outsider. Her worst fear is now confirmed. Minori can no longer hold back her anger. She sings at home. If you cheat, you should watch what you eat at home. I have a good idea. Poison soup for us to share. The room shirts and me. For the man I love. I keep everything clean every day. Poisoning is risky. She might get hurt too. Minori isn't that stupid, so she chooses to add garlic instead. A whole 500 grams of garlic. The next day at work, Yudai still smells strongly of garlic. His female coworker immediately understands. She tells him it's a mark wives give cheating husbands. It warns other women that this man has a family. This means his wife suspects he's cheating. Yudai's heart sinks when he hears this. He rushes home at lunch to please Minori. He lies that work kept him too busy to pay attention to her. Minori acts like a kind, understanding wife, but inside she feels sick. Just looking at him during dinner, she almost throws up from disgust. She asks her lawyer friend for advice. The friend suggests gathering evidence first, then filing for divorce. She'll help make sure Yudai leaves with nothing. He'll lose his reputation and spend his life alone. But Minori isn't satisfied. Why should cheaters get away with it? If the law can't punish scum, she'll make Yudai and his lover suffer more than she did, so she sets her sights on their son, Peter. After all, Minori is also a mother. For a mother, her son is the most important thing. A few days later, Minori becomes Peter's homeroom teacher. Your tie is crooked. Young Peter can't handle this close contact. His heart is probably racing. Minori sees Peter's shy and nervous reaction. She grows more confident. Minori thinks it's only a matter of time before she wins him over. Minori says, "Let's get along well, Peter. The final exams are next month." She uses extra lessons as an excuse to be alone with him. She sets a target, score, and reward system for Peter. She pretends to notice the game charm on Peter's bag. She lies that she plays the same game. Peter's eyes light up. He completely relaxes. He starts talking excitedly about the game. Minori promises that if Peter scores over 85, she'll add him as a friend to play together. Peter happily agrees without thinking he doesn't know. Minori already researched his interests. With this reward as motivation, Peter studies harder than ever. That night, Peter considers playing games to relax. But thinking of his beautiful teacher Minori, he starts studying again. Peter gets an amazing 95 on his final exam. Seeing Peter's hopeful eyes, Minori keeps her promise and agrees to play a game with him right away. But suddenly Yudai calls. Yudai heard about his son's improved grades and wants to take the family out to celebrate. Minori becomes alert when she hears the word dad. She tries to ask Peter about the call indirectly, but then a teacher rushes in. The teacher says Peter's mom fainted and was taken to the hospital. Peter runs off immediately. Soon Minori gets a text from Yudai. He says he's working late and won't be home until much later. Minori instantly understands what's happening. She rushes to the hospital too. She wants to see if Yudai and that woman are together again. Just as she suspected, Yudai is so worried he doesn't even notice his wife standing nearby. Peter's mom says, "Sorry, Yudai, I know you were working." Yudai says, "It's fine. Your health is more important." Peter's mom says, "I'm sorry. I just felt unwell suddenly and panicked." Yudai says, "Don't worry. What did the doctor say?" Hearing her husband care for another woman, Minori's heart breaks that night. Watching her sleeping son, Minori can't stop crying. She tries to calm herself before Yudai comes home, wanting to hear what he has to say, but all she gets is a careless reply. Work was busy, go to sleep. Seeing his indifferent face, Minori can't take it anymore. Minori asks, "Where were you today?" Yudai says, "Huh, what are you talking about?" Minori says, "Compared to me and Tsubasa." Minori says, "That woman is more important, right?" Yudai says, "What? Which woman?" Minori says, "I finally understand now. To you, I'm just some unimportant woman." Yudai says, "What are you saying, Minori? You're acting weird." Minori says, "You liar. For 19 years you've been lying to me. With that calm face of yours. You big liar, liar." Minori imagines stabbing Yudai right through, but she holds back. It was just her imagination. She can't let her son have a murderer for a mother. The next day, Peter apologizes for leaving without saying goodbye. He asks Minori to tutor him. Peter wants to find a good job to help his mom with money, because Peter is about to become a big brother. These words hit Minori like a hammer. She feels dizzy and shocked. She doesn't need to guess. Peter's little sister must also be Yudai and Rico's child. One wasn't enough. These two cheaters even had 2 kids together. Minori feels like a walking corpse as she pretends nothing is wrong while shopping and cooking. Just then, Peter suddenly appears and takes her bags. It turns out Peter has been following Minori lately. He secretly walks her home every day. Seeing her distracted, he can't help but ask if she's okay. Minori takes the chance to ask about Peter's father. Again, Minori asks, "Aren't they getting married? Your mom and the man she's dating?" Peter says, "They plan to marry eventually, since they're having a baby now." His answer shatters Minori's last hope. This time Minori decides to take action. Instead of staying quiet, she storms into Rico's hair salon. Rico freezes when she sees Minori. She forces a fake smile, thinking it's just a coincidence. But the next half hour becomes the most painful moment of Rico's life. Minori stares at Rico's necklace and says sarcastically, "How pretty." Rico nervously explains it's a gift from her son. Minori then shows her bracelet, saying, "My husband gave me this." She adds, "Funny, they're from the same brand. What a coincidence. My husband just bought it for me recently." Rico stammers, "Oh, really, it's nice." Minori replies sharply, "Yes." Rico panics right away. She is afraid her secret will be exposed. She quickly excuses herself to the restroom to calm down. No one has known about Rico and Yudai's affair for 19 years. But Minori suddenly appears just when Rico is pregnant. This is very likely not a coincidence. Minori asks, "Are you okay?" Rico says, "What?" Minori says, "You look pale, so I'm a little worried. Is it morning sickness? I've been through it too. Don't push yourself too hard." Rico says, "I'll be right back. Please wait at the table." Minori says, "Okay." Then Minori strikes again. She says a pregnant woman needs her husband by her side. "And I only had a smooth delivery because my husband was there." Rico stubbornly says she's a single mom, so her son takes care of her. Minori quickly notices a weak point. College students are at the age where they're interested in love, right? "My son shows no signs of that." "You never know with kids that age," Rico says. "What? If he's in college, shouldn't he be leaving his parents soon?" Rico says, "That's not happening." Rico doesn't understand Minori's hidden meaning. After suffering for half an hour, she finally manages to send Minori away. Rico slumps into her chair. That night she texts Yudai. Seeing this, Minori asks Yudai to take their son Tsubasa for a bath. Yudai wants to reply to the text, but he can't say no to this request. Meanwhile, Rico keeps typing messages to push for marriage. In the end she deletes them all. Minori keeps watching the screen closely. Their silent battle ends in a tie for now. That night Minori forces herself to be intimate with her husband. After Yudai falls asleep, she starts chatting with Peter. They plan to meet at a seaside cafe tomorrow. While Peter showers, Rico finds perfume in his room. She also sees flirty messages on his computer. They use fake names, but Rico remembers Minori's words from earlier. She grows more suspicious. The next day, she rushes to the cafe. She doesn't know Minori has already won over her son. He's completely attached to her. When Rico arrives in a hurry, they've already left the cafe. Peter suggests their next meeting. Peter says, "I want to go to the aquarium with you." They pinky promise. Then they walk by the sea. After Minori keeps asking questions, Peter finally tells her everything. He knew his father had an affair before he was born. He also knew his father had another family. But he doesn't think it's wrong. Peter says, "My mom. She worked day and night to raise me. I'm happy she found someone she loves. So, even if that man has another family, as long as he makes my mom happy, what's wrong with that?" Minori says, "But he cheated." Peter says, "Is cheating really that unforgivable? If someone cheats, doesn't it mean their family had problems too?" No matter how it looks, someone is being made happy. That's just how life is. Minori's mind is blown by these words. Her anger reaches its peak. Minori shouts at Peter, "Your mom was happy as the other woman. But what about the family he cheated on? Should their happiness be destroyed? Just so yours can exist." Minori isn't just angry as a wife. She's also a child born from an affair. Neighbors always pointed fingers at her. When her mom died, people said it was her punishment. Only her grandpa kept her alive. This dark past makes her hate cheating. After learning her mom was the other woman, she even started hating herself. Now that things are out in the open, Minori decides not to hide anything anymore. She immediately calls Yudai. Right then, this makes Peter understand everything. Minori says, "You people destroyed my family. I hate you with all my heart. Do you understand now why I got close to you?" Peter says, "Teacher, none of this was real, was it?" Minori says, "I won't see you again." Peter goes home feeling completely lost. He finds his game friend has been deleted. Next day at school, he learns Minori has quit. Peter loses all his energy. Meanwhile, Yudai meets with Rico. He promises to marry her soon, but first they must keep it secret. Yudai has one important thing to do before divorcing. Only Minori's mother-in-law still doesn't know. Hearing Minori quit her job, the mother-in-law asks if Yudai made her stop working. If that's the case, she'll move in to help with the kids while working. Then Minori can do what she wants. Minori is deeply touched by these kind words. She wants to tell the truth so badly to see Yudai beg for forgiveness on his knees. But she can't bear to hurt such a good mother-in-law. So Minori keeps everything to herself and suffers alone. That night Yudai comes home and apologizes seriously. Minori thinks Peter has told him everything. But Yudai only apologizes because their son said, "Mom often cries secretly." His apology is not sincere. This confuses Minori completely. Her best friend quickly shares her guess. Peter might have fallen for Minori completely. He might even leave his mother for her. There's a good chance he'll switch sides and help us. Things happen just as the friend predicted. Next day Peter skips school and comes to see Minori. But just as they meet, Yudai suddenly comes home too. All three stare at each other in shock. Minori fears her plan to seduce Peter will be exposed. Yudai fears his affair will be confirmed. Peter fears his father will know he loves Yudai's wife. The awkwardness freezes the air, but soon they silently agree to pretend. Yudai says Peter is his friend's son. Minori acts like she's meeting Peter for the first time. Yudai asks, "How's your father?" Peter says, "He's fine." Yudai says, "You came here. Is there something you can't tell your own father?" Peter says, "Yeah, something like that." Yudai says, "Sorry, we need to talk man-to-man over there. You should go home first." Minori says, "Okay." Later Yudai lies that Peter came to ask about university applications. Minori sees this, but doesn't expose his lie. The matter is temporarily kept secret. During dinner their son asks for milk. Minori takes her wallet and goes downstairs to buy some. But Peter is still waiting at the door, unwilling to give up. Minori quickly pulls him into a corner. This time Peter comes to apologize. He says he truly understands his cheating was wrong. So he decides to stand by his teacher. He just asked Yudai if he really loves Minori. Yudai answers that he has only ever loved Rico. Hearing this feels like a knife in Minori's heart, but she quickly controls her emotions. "Peter, are you on my side?" Peter says what Minori says. "Can you do anything for me?" Peter says anything. Minori says yes, anything. When Peter leaves, it's already evening. Minori returns home and hears Yudai arguing on the phone. Yudai seems to be making some deal. He says if they get caught, everything will be wasted. Yudai says, "When will the money come? There's no time left. If this fails, my marriage to Minori means nothing." Later Minori asks who Yudai was calling. Yudai lies that it was about a new employee's mistake. Yudai's weak lie and his nervous behavior only make Minori more sure that her husband is hiding something big. After that phone call, Yudai suddenly changes his attitude. Their wedding anniversary is coming in a few days. Yudai says he will take Minori to a fancy restaurant. His mother-in-law prepares an expensive necklace for her. She tells her son to treat Minori well, so their future will be better. On their anniversary, Minori still plays along with Yudai's act. Suddenly she gets a call. Her grandfather is very sick and may not live long. Minori asks Yudai to go home and take care of their son. She rushes to the hospital. Before dying, her grandfather reveals a shocking secret. Minori is actually the secret daughter of the Shoko Group's chairman. Years ago her mother was tricked by him. She died in a car accident after giving birth to Minori. The chairman hid all news about his secret child. Before dying, her grandfather leaves Minori his money and shares in the company. Life can change in an instant. Just yesterday, Minori was a heartbroken wife. Now she suddenly becomes a billionaire. But she can't smile. She thinks she knows why Udai made that call. Did he already know about her true identity? Was their 19-year marriage just part of his plan? This can't be just a coincidence. After returning home, Minori's mother-in-law asks about her grandfather's health with concern. Seeing Minori's sad face, her mother-in-law kneels down to comfort her softly. She then suggests buying sweets to cheer Minori up. But as she turns to grab her wallet, a message from Udai suddenly appears on her phone. It says they'll act as soon as the money arrives. At this moment, Minori breaks into a cold sweat. She can't sit still. While her mother-in-law is out, Minori opens her computer. What she finds is even more shocking. Her mother-in-law knew everything all along. The three of them made a secret group without Minori. They hoped every day for Minori's grandfather to die soon. They even planned how to take the huge inheritance. There's even a cozy photo of the three together. They plan to start a new family after getting the money. Minori can't believe what she's seeing. For 19 years, she was kept in the dark. Her whole life was a lie. Minori's heart feels like it's being stabbed. She can't snap out of it. Her mother-in-law claims to buy cake, but chats in the group. Instead, she says she'll give Minori's necklace to Rico. Minori is so angry, she almost loses control. Then her mother-in-law returns with cake. Minori forces a smile and eats it. Minori tries very hard not to spit the cake in her mother-in-law's face while eating. Minori asks carefully about her mother-in-law's younger days. This reveals her mother's hidden past. Turns out her mother-in-law was very beautiful when young. At a beauty contest, she met and married Udai's father. But later he gambled away all their money so she divorced him and took Udai away. Life after divorce got harder to survive. She worked as a maid for Shoko Group. Life slowly got better, but she always wanted more. There she met a good friend. Minori knows it's her mother. She calls her a close friend, but secretly envies her for catching the chairman's eye. Both were maids in the company. She hated how her friend used men to climb up, so she took photos and exposed the affair. Minori's mother got kicked out. The newspaper told the chairman about her too. She lost her job. Later, Minori's mother died in a car accident. Mother-in-law says, "But I'm happy now, because I have you and Udai." Minori says, "I'm lucky to have you as my mother-in-law. I'm so happy." Minori thinks, "I hate you. I'll never let you be happy. This cake is so delicious. Thank you for the meal." Later, the mother-in-law accidentally finds out about Minori being an illegitimate child. She starts brainwashing Udai. She tells her son to pursue Minori, but Udai already promised himself to Rico. The mother-in-law says, "Why not secretly date both girls?" Udai says, "What? No way." The mother-in-law says, "Do you want to struggle with money forever?" Udai says, "I don't really understand what you mean." The mother-in-law says, "This is our family's biggest opportunity. If you marry that girl, we'll never have money problems again. We can live happily ever after." So with his mother pushing him, Udai starts dating both girls. After marrying Minori, he keeps seeing Rico secretly. Now Minori's grandfather is very sick. They plan to leave Minori after getting the inheritance. Then they'll reunite with Rico and Peter, but they don't know. Peter already supports Minori. The next day, Peter packs his things. He yells at his mom for breaking up families. Then he runs away from home. Peter doesn't know where to go. Somehow he ends up at Minori's door. Minori sees how upset Peter looks. She can't leave him outside and lets him in. When she hands him a towel, Peter suddenly pulls Minori into his arms. Minori is startled at first, but she quickly calms down. She gently dries Peter's hair for him. Minori says she is willing to help him with anything. Peter also promises to help Minori get revenge. But when Peter tries to get closer, Minori firmly stops him. As soon as the rain stops, she sends Peter away. That night, Minori goes to her grandfather's bedside and shares her feelings. Her grandfather sincerely apologizes to her. He tells her to live her own life. Then he suddenly passes away. At the funeral, the mysterious chairman also appears. This shocks Minori's mother-in-law, making her face turn pale. She and her son thought they had cut ties long ago. But blood is thicker than water, and at this moment Minori's revenge truly begins. When Minori asks him, the chairman slowly reveals the truth from the past. Back then he fell in love with Minori's mother. At first sight, he had always been trapped in a forced family marriage. But then he found true love. So it wasn't Minori's mother who seduced him. He was the one who cheated first. Later, Minori's mother got pregnant. He wanted to run away with her, but before they could leave, Minori's mother-in-law exposed their relationship. Under pressure from his father, the chairman has no choice but to obey his family. He gives Minori's mother some money. After that they never see each other again. But 7 years later Minori's mother goes to see the chairman. Minori keeps crying for her dad at home. Her mother wants the chairman to visit their daughter, but by then the chairman is the heir to the Shoko group. To protect the company, he coldly refuses. Right after his car leaves, Minori's mother is hit by a sudden car crash and dies. When Minori learns the truth, she is shocked. It wasn't her fault, but she blames herself for her mother's death. If she hadn't kept asking for her dad, her mother wouldn't have gone to see the chairman and died in the crash. The chairman feels terrible too. He promises to spend his life making it up to Minori. If she asks for anything, he'll do it, no matter how hard it is. You only care now that I'm grown up. Where were you before? But now that she has her father's support, Minori can finally start her revenge plan. She tells her mother-in-law and Yudai she's the chairman's secret daughter. So what did you and the chairman talk about? Minori says, we just talked about money. Really? It must be hard dealing with this right after your grandpa passed. Let us know if we can help with anything. Don't try to handle everything alone. That's right. We're family after all. You're right. We are family. Yes, you can rely on us more, especially with money problems. Money problems? You're right. This isn't just my problem. Yes, we still have Tsubasa. Thank you all. If I have any problems, I'll definitely come to you. Mother-in-law and Yudai dream of getting rich overnight. But the next day at work mother-in-law suddenly gets fired by Shoko Group. She thinks it's just a coincidence. Besides, she'll be financially free soon. Losing her job doesn't matter. But then Yudai's company suddenly loses all contracts with Shoko Group. This boycott is disastrous for a small company. But there's more. Peter suddenly bursts into the office. He publicly exposes Yudai's affair. All the co-workers immediately start listening closely. Now everything's in chaos. Meanwhile, mother-in-law senses something's wrong. She rushes home to test Minori. Minori asks, don't you have work today? Mother-in-law says, work, I quit. Minori says, you mean you got fired but said it wrong, right? So you were kicked out of your job. Mother-in-law says, I knew it was your doing. Yes, it was me. Why did you do this? Minori says, why? You betrayed me first, didn't you? If you love this job so much, why don't you go work for the Shoko family? Minori says, that big boss you mentioned before. Was the Shoko family right? Shoko agreed to help without hesitation, and he seems to hate you just as much. In a flashback, Shoko asks Minori, who's the woman in this photo? Minori says, my mother-in-law. You sold the news about my parents' affair to the press, didn't you? And yet you stayed by my side. My dad never saw it coming. As Minori keeps accusing, her mother-in-law tries to lie her way out, but Minori doesn't give her a chance. You won't get a single penny from me. From now on, you'll work as a lowly laborer. Mother-in-law pins Minori down and yells insults at her. Tsubasa shouts, I hate you, Grandma, get away. Minori says, perfect, now Tsubasa hates you too. This way, I can cut ties with you without any regrets. That night Minori waits for Yudai to come home. She sits on a chair and laughs loudly. Getting revenge feels so good. Minori can't wait to see the shocked look on Yudai's face. She even prepares a big meal for this. The table is full of Yudai's favorite eggplant dishes. After all, it's his last good meal. By tradition, a prisoner's last meal is always the best. Yudai tries to stay calm and sits down to eat. Which tastes better? What? My cooking or Rico's cooking? What? You eat out with another family every week, don't you? Tell me which tastes better. Minori says, why are you so nervous now? Didn't your mother tell you anything? Yudai quickly checks his messages that he realizes Minori already knows everything. Minori says, I know everything. Yudai panics completely. He tries to use Tsubasa as an excuse. He begs Minori not to divorce him. But it's too late for excuses now. Minori says bluntly, you only don't want divorce because you're afraid your company will find out about your affair. Then you'll lose your job, and you won't be able to support yourself and that third child right. Hearing this, Yudai finally faces reality. Minori already knows the whole truth. She watches Yudai kneel and fake an apology, but she doesn't give him any chance. She directly takes out the divorce papers she prepared long ago. Then she slams the door and leaves without another word. Of course Minori won't let Rico, the other woman, off easy either, because Peter ran away and cut all contact. Rico blames everything on Minori. She even claims Minori stole her son. Minori fires back. If you can steal my husband, then it's only fair I take your son. You deserve this. Rico panics completely. After all, her son means way more to her than Yudai. So she kneels on the floor, just like Yudai did. But then Peter suddenly comes back. He says his running away had nothing to do with Minori. Minori didn't trick him, he just fell for her on his own. Rico is furious when she hears this. This is even crazier than a soap opera. Peter, the other woman's son, is in love with the wife of the man who cheated, and that man is Peter's own father. Rico's mind spins in circles. Finally, she falls into complete despair. But even then Minori keeps adding salt to the wound, because Yudai never loved Rico. If they truly loved each other, why would Yudai marry Minori? From the beginning Yudai only loved money, so all his promises were lies. Now Rico has completely lost her mind. She feels unsure inside, but her gut tells her Minori might be right. Still she keeps saying Yudai loves her. Minori then asks another question. Do you really love Yudai? If being with Yudai means losing Peter, would you still choose him? This puts Rico in a tough spot. Her lover or her son, she can only pick one. Peter adds fuel to the fire. He says she must choose between him and Yudai. This is the final blow for Yudai. The next day Rico meets Yudai after thinking hard. Yudai still dreams big. He says he's decided to divorce Minori so they can finally be together. But Rico the mistress finally wakes up. 19 years of hiding in the shadows. That was never love. She was just a small part of his life, just a backup plan. He kept for 19 years those lies. Only a fool like him would believe them. Abandoned by both his wife and mistress, Yudai's heart sinks into darkness. He sits on the street at night, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. But even the bottle seems to mock him. Damn it. Suddenly his junior co-worker, Mary, appears. She offers him a beer and invites him to drink with her. Mary says, I don't think cheating is a big deal. Yudai says, what? Mary says, if you really fall for someone, what can you do? Yudai says, thanks. I knew you'd be the only one to understand me. Want to grab dinner after my suspension ends? Mary says, I'm not siding with you. Cheating is one thing, but getting caught is another. Your wife or your mistress. You thought they wouldn't notice. You treated them like fools. Yudai says, no, that's not true. Mary says, I can't forgive men like you who look down on women. I came here just to tell you one thing. Mary says, go to hell, you scumbag. The cheating scandal spreads through the company. The next day Yudai is fired. He returns home alone. No warm lights greet him. No hot meal waits. No smiles from his wife or son. At this moment, Yudai finally faces the consequences of his betrayal. He also feels abandoned by everyone. Now he finally realizes his mistake. The next day, Minori comes and asks him to sign the divorce papers. Yudai suddenly drops to his knees, crying. He says he truly loves Rico. He admits he married Minori for money, but he blames his mother for pushing him into it. He could never let go of Rico after marriage. But after 19 years together, especially after having Tsubasa, Minori and their son became important to him too. So he begs Minori for forgiveness. Minori doesn't believe his lies. She says, important, really. Rico and Peter always came first in your heart. Cheating happens once, then, again and again. Their marriage is like a broken mirror. No matter how you fix it, the cracks remain. Minori says, this isn't a market where you can bargain. She's determined to divorce him. I want you to feel it too. The pain of being betrayed by someone you trust. I'll break you completely. I'll destroy everything you have. I'll do whatever it takes. I want to hear you beg me for mercy. Only then will I feel free. Only then will this weight lift. After the divorce, Minori feels like a huge burden is gone. Minori feels much lighter now. She plans to leave the city with her son Tsubasa. But right before leaving, Peter suddenly shows up. He says he wants to go with Minori. This makes Minori feel unsure what to do. Minori admits she was only using Peter all along. She sincerely apologizes to him. But Peter says he doesn't need an apology. Instead, he wants to thank Minori because she changed his wrong way of thinking. Peter has completely fallen in love with Minori. He can't help how much he loves her. But Minori can't accept this teacher-student relationship. She gently turns him down. Peter asks, to you, am I just your former student? Minori says, Peter, you need to live your own life. 7 years pass quickly. Minori opens a family restaurant in a small town. She leaves her boring housewife life behind. Minori makes many new friends there. Her son Tsubasa also finds playmates. Most importantly, Minori meets kind, single dad Mike. Both were hurt by marriage before, so they get along very well. Friends often joke they make a perfect couple. Minori's life becomes happy and fulfilling. Meanwhile, Yudai, after losing his job, Yudai has to start over from the bottom. At his age, he doesn't fit in with the younger coworkers. His colleagues all have nice lunchboxes made by their wives, but Yudai just eats dry bread. This seems like a happy ending, but the story is far from over, because when Minori takes Tsubasa to school one day, she suddenly sees Peter working as a teacher there. They stare at each other in shock. Is this fate bringing them together? Peter's eyes light up with excitement, but Minori turns pale and runs away. Other parents mention Peter is Tsubasa's new homeroom teacher. This instantly ruins Minori's peaceful life. Soon Peter comes to find her. When Minori tutored Peter years ago, she mentioned this town. She said it had beautiful scenery. Peter never forgot those words. After graduating, he gave up a high-paying city job to come teach here and find Minori. Peter is now 27 years old. He's more mature and determined. He says he's not a kid anymore. Minori immediately understands what he means. Minori says, "I'm already 40 years old at 27. Your life is just beginning. You should enjoy your work, hobbies, and interests." Peter says, "After meeting you again, I'm even more sure now. I still have feelings for you." Before Peter can finish his confession, a customer suddenly arrives. Mike also comes in, seeing their friendly chat. Peter gets very jealous. His friends see him trying hard to talk to others, asking many personal questions. Peter is new here. He shows a photo of his sister. This brings back Minori's forgotten memories. Minori forces a fake smile. She gets distracted and drops a glass that breaks. Minori cuts her finger. Mike quickly comes to help. He uses a first aid kit to bandage her finger. This makes Peter even more jealous. But there's more. Mike suddenly asks Minori out on a date. Peter watches them closely. Minori glances back at Peter. Then she says yes to Mike on purpose. Peter leaves sadly, but he doesn't give up. He comes back when no one's around. Minori tells him directly. She says he shouldn't come again. Now they're just teacher and parent. But Peter doesn't give up. He barges into the house. He asks Minori if she's really going on a date with Mike. Minori says, "I want to start a new life here. Now I also want to get to know Mike better." "Tsubasa, welcome home." Tsubasa says, "Teacher." Peter says, "I think I forgot my umbrella, so I came back to look for it." Minori says, "I already told you your umbrella isn't here." Peter says, "Then I'll leave. See you tomorrow, Tsubasa." The next day before her date with Mike, her son, Tsubasa, reminds Minori that he's playing soccer with friends today, so she doesn't need to pick him up after school. It seems Tsubasa fully supports his mom dating Mike. But Minori doesn't directly accept Mike's request to date. She tells him her whole revenge story. She says she's a dark-hearted person who will do anything. But Mike says, truly bad people don't feel pain themselves. This leaves Minori speechless on their way home. Minori also tells him about her past with Peter. Mike thanks her for her honesty. Their relationship slowly starts to develop, but from this day on Peter becomes a regular at the restaurant. A coworker asks, "So how are things with Mike? Did he confess to you?" Minori says, "I told him I need time to think. I feel really honored." The coworker asks, "Peter, you think they make a good couple too, right?" Peter says, "Huh?" Peter says, "I don't know." It gets dark outside. Their friends all go home, one by one. Peter waits by the door, wanting to say something more, but then a familiar voice suddenly calls out, "Peter, long time no see, Mom." Minori did nothing wrong, but she quickly closes the door like she saw a ghost. She just wants to raise her son quietly, but these people won't leave her alone. Rico thinks Minori is trying to seduce her son again, so she came here to watch Minori. Peter explains he just happened to meet Minori by chance. Minori wasn't trying to seduce him, but his mother, Rico, won't listen to reason. She cries, makes a scene, and throws a fit. In the end, Peter gets really annoyed. Peter says, "If you do anything to Minori, then we're no longer mother and son." Later, Peter goes back to apologize to Minori. To win her back, Peter takes out an aquarium ticket, because 7 years ago they pinky promised they would go on an aquarium date together. Now it's time for Minori to keep her promise. But Rico secretly watches Peter and Minori talking. Rico fears her son will really leave her. She goes home alone, but she can't accept this, so she goes to Yudai's house. Since divorcing Minori, Yudai has been very poor. His mother stays home all day. Yudai only earns a small salary. He must pay for his and his mother's living costs. He also pays child support to Minori and Rico. Life has become too hard for him. Rico says she'll stop taking his money, but Yudai must stop Peter and Minori from dating. She threatens him if they end up together she will kill Minori, no matter what. Yudai feels nervous hearing this. He thinks if I don't do this, will this crazy woman kill me too? At the same time, Minori rejects Peter again on their date. But the weather turns bad. A heavy rain suddenly starts. Peter grabs Minori's hand. They run to a nearby shelter. Peter says no one will disturb us here. He finally says what's in his heart. After his loving words, Minori cries with emotion. Peter takes this chance to pull Minori into his arms. In the heat of the moment, they start kissing passionately without caring who might see. They get more and more carried away. They almost begin taking clothes off, but suddenly a phone ring interrupts them. It's Tsubasa, calling from Mike's phone. He asks Minori if she has an umbrella, since it's raining. Hearing Tsubasa's voice, Minori suddenly snaps back to reality. Her sense of morality takes over again. Minori says, I really can't hurt Tsubasa or your sister. I'm sorry. But even so, rumors about Minori and Peter spread through town. Their friends notice something strange between them. Mike actually saw what happened, but he says he'll keep Peter's secret. He even promises that if Minori chooses Peter, he won't make trouble. At the same time, Tsubasa suddenly finds Peter. Tsubasa says, stop making my mom suffer. If you don't stop, I'll protect my mom no matter what. Remembering his own childhood, Peter leaves looking completely heartbroken. But unexpectedly a bigger crisis appears. The next day Minori gets a threatening letter. The letter says, you're past with Peter. Do you really think no one will find out? This scares Minori so much that her legs feel weak. She starts suspecting everyone. She thinks it might be from a friend or Rico. She even suspects Tsubasa and Mike. Mike asks, Minori, are you okay? Minori, what happened? After seeing the threat letter, Mike quickly swears he didn't do it. Then the last person they expect shows up uninvited. Yudai says Rico asked him to come. Minori first thinks he sent the threat letter, but Yudai says he just came to see his son. At the same time Tsubasa shows the letter to Peter. She asks if he's behind this. So the three of them meet again to make Peter give up completely. Minori pretends with Yudai that they're getting back together. They say they'll soon be a couple again. This trick works. Hearing this, Peter finally gives up. Next day Yudai leaves after seeing his son, but then rumors spread about Minori and Peter's past. This makes it hard for her to stay in town. Minori can't take it and calls her father. She says, find out who did this. Meanwhile Peter returns home, but he finds the place completely messed up. Peter's mother looks completely devastated. Someone exposed her past as a mistress online. Because of this, her daughter gets bullied by friends. Rico has to send her back to their hometown. Peter thought his mother sent the threatening letters, but surprisingly she received the same threatening letters too. Now the only suspect left is Yudai. Peter rushes to Yudai's house to confront him. Peter says, didn't you want to get back with Minori? Why did you suddenly change your mind? Hearing this, the mother-in-law finally comes out without a word. She slaps her son. She even tries to drag him to the police. Suddenly, Minori arrives too. Now the truth comes out. The mother-in-law did everything using Shoko Group's powerful resources. Police quickly find all her online activities. The threatening letters even have her fingerprints. Now that she's caught, the mother-in-law confesses everything. She says her life is ruined. Why should Rico and Minori live happily? She wants them to suffer like her. She even blames her son, Yudai. If you didn't cheat and married this woman like I told you and behaved until we got the money, but you got caught up in silly romance. You had an affair and got someone pregnant over nothing. Now we're struggling because of child support. Minori calls her mom. Yudai's mother says, I'm not your mom. Minori says, I recorded everything. Enough is enough. The mother-in-law grabs a knife to stab Minori, but Peter takes the blow for her. Peter uses his own body to shield Minori. Just as the knife is about to strike, Yudai stops it with his hand. Yudai says, Mom, stop this. Work, money, reputation, we've lost everything. But this is all our own fault. We ruined Minori's life. We ruined everyone's lives. We made unforgivable mistakes, and this is the result. Stop it. We should atone for our sins now. Even my own son blames me, but the mother-in-law insists she did nothing wrong. She runs out like a mad woman, but the chairman stops her in time. Yudai promised to control his mother, so the chairman let her go last time. Now she's causing trouble again. She can spend the rest of her life in prison. Wait, I'll go with her. Minori, I'm really sorry. Minori asks, is your hand okay? Yudai says, yeah. From now on I'll take responsibility and take care of my mom. I won't let her or myself bother you again. Please don't worry. Then I'll go now. Kind Minori says, Yudai, thank you for everything. Minori, take care. Yeah, they think it's all over now. But Rico calls with another threat. She says she'll jump off a building. Peter and Minori rush to stop her. Rico sits on the rooftop edge crying, saying she's lost everything. She's being punished for being the other woman. Does Minori want to destroy me completely, even take my son away? I might as well die then. Will you hit me again, or push me off here? Fine, go ahead. My life is already ruined anyway. I really want to hit you because you hurt me, so I hurt you back, but I know fighting back and forth is pointless. With Minori's help, the two women finally let go of their hatred for each other. Later, Mike asks to meet Minori, but he doesn't come to confess his feelings. Instead, he tells her to listen to her heart and find true happiness for herself. So Minori finally says those words to Peter. I like you. I like you.